Hello, and welcome back to Oolykee Gaming, and welcome back to another tutorial. This time we're gonna deal with the clothes, basic production, and all the good stuff surrounding it. Right, so we got the awkward part out of the way, so let's start. Usually I would start close to the Soviet border. Hopefully if they have any electrical output, that would be great. There's a big city over here and looks like it has a lot of flat plains. That would be perfect. We have one or two electrical connections. We have one here, that's perfectly fine. This is a perfectly random map, and I probably should stop saying perfectly. I'm gonna show you how to start up with basic farming and clothing. Right, let's set up our farms first. I'm gonna do a jump cut and we're gonna go on from there. Bam! Simple. We have a farm in the middle. I started with the fields next to the road, so I built two fields, and two fields on this side, and just a plonked farm in the middle. It helps. It helps. Every little bit helps. This is gonna be our farm where we're gonna have 6 tractors. And sowing, harvesting, we're gonna have... Oh, sorry, my bad. Right, okay, so... Of course, we're not gonna go for these ones. These are... we're gonna go for American ones. We lost a little bit of money, but don't worry, we're gonna have enough money for all of this. We're gonna have go for 6 harvesters. Now update your tractors when you get newer ones, because it's gonna speed up all your work, but for now this is perfectly fine for everything that we're gonna do. Now, why 19 fields and why no covered trucks? There's a trick to it. We're gonna be distributing, we're gonna build a distribution office that's gonna be responsible for distributing these crops to a central storage facility, which we're gonna build as well. Farm is here. We're gonna start now with the industries. That's gonna be 1 fabric factory and 2 clothing factories. Let me build this for you and see you back in a second. Right, so this would be a basic setup. You can turn these around. I could have made them feng shui so everything aligns. It's perfectly fine. I just didn't want to spend any extra money, or it actually doesn't really matter how they're shaped. So let me explain the basic setup. So we have this fabric production. Fabric production is not gonna work. It needs chemicals and crops, of course. Crops are going to be imported straight away. We're going to be importing here 37 tons of crops in a silo. It's better than here. Now, for chemicals, I will import initial load of, like 5,000 or so chemicals, but I think I'm going to have... I think we're just gonna continue importing like this, that would be fine. And let's do the basic road system. Now, the most important thing here is that we have workers, that they are able to go to work wherever they need to go. We're gonna need a bus platform. Bus platform is gonna be delivering people, and let's build one of those bad boys. So I would go for something like here. This is close enough, and this is more or less it's gonna be perfect. Let's start using rubles as a payment method. So we're gonna go for rubles, and I will go real quickly do this, and then we're gonna build a couple of pathways. But first, let me finish the rest of the roads that need to be constructed, because pathways are gonna be interrupting some of our roads. So we're gonna go for something like this and here. Now, I'm not really sure where we want to export our crops, our clothing, here or here, but we can, to avoid traffic, go here, because all the export trucks are going to go here. This is going to be busy, especially in the harvest season, because they're going to be transporting all the crops up and down the road. But more or less, this should be fine. So let's put play. Let's finish these roads, and let me show you what else we need to connect. Where I'm putting these mud roads, this is probably this is 99%. They're not going to be used whatsoever. These roads, this is just access for the fire department. I'm gonna pause that, and now we're gonna have to connect the most important thing. Our people have to get to work, and we need to provide them with the shortest path possible. So in this case it's gonna be something like this, and here in this case it's gonna be something complicated. Here we go, this looks nice. From here we're gonna have, let's make this nice, come on, there we go. So we have access to that factory, we have access to that factory, and the only thing we need is access to this factory. This is all within 500 meters, but I forgot one thing that I almost always forget. We're gonna need a heating plant and supply them with people as well. Not too close to the city, so I think this would be perfect location for it. Now the problem with the heating plants we have is that they are turned around the small one we're gonna go. I think we're gonna need more or less like 2 pipes going out of here, and so that means we're gonna have to be generous with the space, but that's again okay. We're gonna do it like plonk, and then I'm just gonna connect the pathways here. This is more or less basic setup we're gonna have, and all of this, or people for all of these factories are gonna be okay being supplied from here. I will have to put a petrol station, but first things first, let me do these little things for you and finish construction of this, and we can continue on. Jump cut. Bam! This monstrosity is my creation. Everything you see here and everything we use in this video is gonna be vanilla. So original from the game. Nothing is modded, there are no mods here. We have the small distribution office, big distribution office. I'm gonna explain later down the line what they're gonna be doing. And we have a setup of 4 big silos, who are the only silos we have in the game that can store crops. They can, but that's not important. They're not really that important, so it doesn't look nice and doesn't look realistic and doesn't feel realistic, so I will be only using these. What I constructed in the meantime, what do we have here? We have a huge silo, 800-ton capacity silo connected to our fabric factory, and we have 4 different silos connected with the gravel roads for firefighting purposes. Connected to the road, and we have 2 distribution offices. Well, how are we gonna set this up? We're gonna set this up later, not now, but we're gonna set it up like this. We're gonna have a big distribution center with 12 trucks, gonna be assigned to 19 fields, since it has 20 connections within the distribution office. 20th connection will be this, so they're gonna be unloading all the crops for all the fields directly into this silo setup that I have here. All together with this and these 4 will be 4,000 ton capacity. From these fields here I expect around 5,000 to 6,000 tons of crops. I'm not really sure, I didn't do the math, and probably I won't here, but I think it's around 5,000-6,000 crops, 1,000 tons of crops. Small distribution office is maybe not even going to be manned fully, maybe it will, but it's gonna be distributing crops from here to the small silo here that's gonna be using the crops straight away. Bear in mind that we are using 20 tons of crops a day. That would be 2,000 tons of crops per 100 days, and that would be 6,300 days, and around 7,000 crops we're gonna need per year to run this on 100%. It's not gonna be ever on 100%, but even 80%, it might be that we're not gonna have enough crops for this. So I would say that this is a basic setup for only this industry. You can't use this food for any crops for anything else, just this. Okay, now the town. I'm gonna beautify this town, and I'm gonna be back in a second. Right, here we go, still paused, 5 days later altogether. I had to unpause it to build a little bit of a town here. I'm kinda pickish when it comes to this kind of thing, and I really like our people to kinda like, you know, survive and all, so I was just plonking them here and back, all of those things you can see here. I moved all the people, and I will move all these guys here as well. We're building final 2 buildings. We have 3 full, 100% full buildings, but just in order to start tracking the population, I want to do electricity imports. That's gonna be a most boring thing ever. Now, you know how this goes. If you're gonna plan for the future, if you ever gonna export electricity, bear in mind that you're gonna have to invest in our infrastructure. I will not do this now. I will do something like so. Let me just see. And like I said, we're doing vanilla. There are much better mods than what we have around here. So I'm gonna just go for vanilla this, and I will just connect these two guys so they get acquainted and get to know each other. And then I'm gonna connect this just so we can have some kind of nice connection for the firefighting services. Why I'm doing this now? Because I need electricity. I want electricity because I would like to see how we're doing people-wise population, and we're gonna start tracking that. That's also one of the things I'm gonna teach you how to do, or show you at least what I learned so far. So we're gonna go with I'm gonna go with simple transformer station over here, and then I'm gonna try to connect it. Let's go across as much as we can. Let's go here. Then I'm gonna try to go on this side of the road just so we can save some money on zigzagging over the road. Now, if you don't know, if you zigzag over the road, the pillars are much more distant one from another, and that means that you spend less money for construction of everything that you're building. So let's see if we can make one fit all, and looks like we actually can. So around here we can plonk in the transformer station if I can find just a little bit more space for it. It might not be possible this way, maybe this way. Nothing. No, doesn't like us. We can always go over here and just connect another electrical connection over here. Let's see how far we can get over here. And can we zigzag our way through here, or we're gonna have to go all the way around? I don't mind either way, and let's just go on. Let's just be on the safe side and remove this, and we can just go through the main road. So if we go over here, let's see if it's still in range. Still everything is covered by electricity, which is exactly what we want. And we're gonna go over here and directly into the transformer station. Now this is gonna be built. We need to start importing electricity on the border crossing. So we're gonna go import, plonk, and here we go. We have our petrol station working now, we have our city powered up, and we have statistics. 1,350 people live in this city. I wanted to mention this, and I'm gonna mention it now. This is perfect, this is more than enough what we need. This city will grow. We're gonna lose some excuse me, we're gonna lose some people straight away because they have their needs that are not met, and they're gonna leave, escape, or die. Mostly die. I think it could be due to the old age or something. I didn't really follow what's happening with the people. I think I need to do a little bit more research why they're dying straight away, you know, in the beginning. But it always does happen. So if I go for play, you see we already lost 2 people, and they have everything except school and the kindergarten and the university, but we will build that as well. I'm just gonna continue transferring these people. I wanted to show you statistics. Statistics we're gonna follow will be university educated people, and births, deaths, and total population. And maybe we're gonna pay attention to adults living with parents, but I don't think we're gonna have that issue. 1,000 to 1,200 people would be some kind of minimum I would like to have in this city for this industry to operate, and you're gonna also see that this is gonna be more than enough, this population of the city. I'll transfer all these people into the buildings, remove the houses, and build kindergarten, couple of kindergartens, I think 3 of them, and 1 school. Usually I put 1 kindergarten for every 500 people, and I think for now it was working perfectly for us, but we'll see. Anyway, jump cut again. And here we go. Okay, I even plonked the university quite close to where the people are, so I don't think we're gonna have any issues with that. I will have to coordinate some things. For example, we don't need so many workers in the hospitals. We do need, let's say, 4 of those, 2 of those. I'm gonna lower the amount of firefighters, even though I don't expect any fires to happen. Well, nobody does when you're building the fire department. You don't expect the fires, but who knows? Right, everything else more or less looks like it could work. We have a lot of kids in the schoolyards, that could be a tricky one. And one more thing I haven't built, it is the road vehicle depot. Road vehicle depot is a quite important one because we're gonna need a lot of vehicles. Let's start with this. We're gonna have bus line going from town center here, and it's absolute dark, and probably I should wait for the morning, but let's I'm pretty sure that our people don't need anything specific: kindergarten, spirituality, school, without jobs. So job is the only thing that they need. I'm gonna speed this up just so we can get to the daytime. I'm gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I'm gonna pause this. We're gonna get 4 big buses with 80 passengers capacity. I will create a new line, and I suggest every time you create a line, industrial or anything like that, that you should name it, just so better you're gonna have better bookkeeping, and that's quite important. So I'm gonna select, we have a first line. I'm just gonna assign this to these 4 buses and let them be on their merry way. Now, I don't usually use cheat codes, and I don't think that this is cheating. If you press button C, H and E, you will have option to get line spacing. Line spacing is important for the for buses to be equally distance from each other when they're servicing stops. Now this is important so you can have equal supply of workers. They're gonna go and refuel, and they're gonna be on their merry way supplying people here. I wanted to build a university line, but I don't think we're gonna need that. Currently I would like to get our ooh, wow, that's a lot of workers we don't need over here. Let's go for 15, maybe 20 in the beginning, because I would like to do the chemistry research. We don't have to, this is not the plan for this tutorial, but chemistry would be the natural step forward if you want to lower the costs. Crops will lower the cost of one thing, chemistry of another thing, and now it's like the power plant, but expenses for electricity are really low, so don't worry about that. Okay, this is town, these are the lines, and let's start producing our first crops, here we go, operating without issues. First fabrics are being constructed, first workers are working here, productivity is already around 50%. I can see straight away that everything is working more or less as expected. That's it. We have nothing left to do. We need to monitor our stats. 1,334 people. We have 17 people died, and we're gonna follow up those stats, and as soon as we get first birds, we are golden. That means our people are gonna be happy. You can see here that their happiness is more or less just about the number of babies, or end of where the number of babies is, but this is going to be increasing exponentially and fast. I will do a little bit of tweaking to make their lives a little bit easier, if that's even possible. And let's see here, for example, something like this. I know that this is gonna be used quite a lot because it's much faster. I like those pathways. Pathways are awesome, and this is why I build mud roads everywhere, because I'm gonna let our people walk everywhere. The roads are really not important, only for firefighters and the ambulance. And that should be alright. That's more or less it. We're still losing people, 20 deaths, but that's okay. Everything is gonna work out fine. The band is gonna make it. Right, that's it. If we have any news, I'm just gonna continue this. This is only 15-ish days from the beginning of the video. Only 2 weeks later, we already have all of this. We are educating our university people, and of course one last thing I forgot, that would be the heating. Even though it's not really that necessary, I will still provide them with two different heating options, or heating exchangers. We need to have everything covered, so we're gonna go for one over here, and we're gonna go for one over here, and they both gonna require heating lines, so the different ones, because I want them supplied like this. So let's go all the way here, I'm not planning on expanding the city in this tutorial too much, so I don't really mind the spacing, but you know how this works. Bear in mind about your space, and here we go. So we're gonna go too high. I'm gonna build another pipe, heating pipe, somewhere around here. Okay, this doesn't work properly. Looks like our electrical installations are in the way, so let's go too high again, and let's try to cross the road around here and connect it to this heating plant. Perfect, so we have heating set up already, and this is gonna be working. Pipelines can be much nicer, you have mods for underground pipelines and all that stuff, but that's a different story. Okay, see you. So we have 270,000. We're gonna set up soon the clothing export line, and see you in a second. Right, so clothing exports. Let's pause for a second. We have a border crossing there, border crossing there. I don't really care which one we're gonna take, but just for the sake of potential less traffic, so I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna create a new line going this way. I'm gonna angle it nicely so they don't lose speed while changing roads. So this should be around like this. And then I'm gonna go for, let's go for 3. This is nothing. This is probably not gonna be enough, but I'm still choosing this. So, clothes, Soviet, export. There we go. By the way, you obviously know that it has to be near the Soviet border. Why? Because most of the stuff you can buy is Soviet. So we're gonna have to get that. Good old Vladimirs or rubles. We have all these trucks selected. Clothing will be exported, and wait until loaded. We don't want those trucks to be wasting fuel. Just wait until loaded and wait until unloaded. Voila, exports are on the way. If we need to add a truck to this line, I will do that as well, but for now I'm gonna let this settle to have population stabilize. We are still losing some people, more or less 30 of them, but it's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it, the band's gonna make it. See you in a few. Here we go, we have first birth, that would be 14th of April, that's just under a month after we started. First baby was born here. This is also a signal that everything is working out fine, that they don't have any needs that are not being met. That would be pub and tavern, that I'm never putting for our people, just because this extends their life and probably keeps them away from the doctor more often, but that's not guaranteed. Right, we're gonna continue educating our people, we're gonna continue I'm gonna continue having fun with this, and you guys are gonna have to wait for the jump cuts, and I'm assuming that the next jump cut will be in few months, not before that. Unless something happens that I need to fill you in about, we're gonna see each other in a few months. Right, so let's get our game faces on and let's do this. Harvesters are on the way. Harvesters are already picking the crops from the fields, and we need to set this up. So, like we said, we're gonna have one building where everything is gonna be unloaded. That's gonna be here. Of course, they already know that they're gonna be. By the way, I put already one vehicle here. I just put it from the exports. 2 of them are perfectly fine with exporting this. And now we need to add all of these fields. So we're gonna go for 4 of these, 4 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plus 8. That would be 19, and we're gonna set the destination building to 90%. So technically we're gonna be using only 90% of capacity, which is hopefully it's gonna be okay. Right, next stop, we need trucks. We need a whole bunch of trucks. And now you can see how all of this is going to start to work. Now, let's set up the second distribution office. Second distribution office is simple. 1 and 2. So you're going to be loading from the cargo station, and you're going to be unloading to this silo. I'm liking this cargo station. It has 3 slots, some of the modded ones have less, and it's quite efficient. I think this cargo station, I might be using this in my Let's Plays. I will go with 3 trucks initially, just to see. It's not really important, we have a huge capacity here, we just need to get crops set up here. We're gonna have, when we start delivering it, we're gonna stop spending money for, come on, chop chop, we need to go. Crops. I'm just looking if they're gonna start cooperating now or not yet. Anyway, this is the dance that just started. They're gonna be driving all over the fields. They're not gonna be able to handle everything. Fields are gonna get filled really fast, and all these trucks are just gonna be driving around delivering the crops. Right, so let's talk about the finances while this is being handled. You can see here that our distribution started as well, so we can stop. We're gonna stop importing all the crops now, so we can, well, I will continue be importing it because it might not be enough in the end of the year, but we will stop buying for the crops as soon as we start unloading some of them. And there we go. So let's pause this for a second. Let me show you what happened here. So first, most important thing, 337,000 rubles of goods were exported, only clothes, nothing else in this period. Imports, 3 things we're interested: crops, chemicals, and electricity. Electricity is more or less 1/3. I came to calculation that 1/3 of all our imported electricity is related to our clothing industry. 1/3 of this, it's 2,500. Let's go with 2,500 to be generous. We have 61,000 if we add it here to the crops, and then we have 153,000. 153,000 costs us to run this industry. 153,000. If we go back to our imports, 337,000. This is 180,000 pure profit. That includes everything, and it's more than enough for us to run our, well, country. Now, as soon as we stop gathering these crops here, all of this expense that we have here in last, let's say this is the 28th of August, that would be more or less from March, so that would be March, April, May, June, July, August. 6 months we have been running our country, and this is the result. If we discount, if we start paying for our own crops, which we will, that means we're gonna have 58,000 rubles extra. Next up would be to settle the chemicals, but let's continue with this one. We're gonna see how this is gonna work and how the whole setup works. So let's recap what we did. Farm, set up your farm. Industry, set up your industries. You have one fabric and 2 clothing industries. Heating and everything for the city, that's totally separate. That's up to you how you want to set it up. Setup of storage. Unfortunately, vanilla gives us only these kind of silos which have 800-ton capacity, and I kind of put them in this kind of setup. Don't use the forklifts. Forklifts are way too slow. Do not connect them to the forklifts directly or nothing. And we have 5th silo that is going to be storing fabric for our fabric factory. Sorry, crops for our fabric factory. One other thing I wanted to mention, city related, you can see here that some of our people are complaining about kindergarten. Now, let's recap demographics. We have almost 2,000 people. I haven't imported a single person. This is all on their own. I haven't spent a single ruble or kopeka for importing people. This is all from this one city that we started in. If we had a less population than 1,000, I would probably get more people here. You can see our educated population, or university educated population, is more than doubled. Amazing. And you can see that are still under 21s. We have enough living space. We have just under 2,000 people living in the city. Lifespan huge, productivity amazing, everything is working perfectly fine. Birds 801, that's 231. This works. This setup, it's perpetuum mobile now. You're gonna have issues with too many people. You already have issues with the kindergartens, where we would probably we need to put another kindergarten around here for our people to be happy. So For example, if we do this, this is definitely increase our labor pool. So here we go. This is connected to the network and it's close to the rest of the population. Let me show you how this works. At the moment they are keeping track with whatever is happening on the fields, but that will change soon. Our harvesters will harvest way more than the trucks can handle. At least I think so, but they will handle it. They will handle it in the end. And voila, that's it. That's the setup. That's all the knowledge I can give you from this. For now, I'm gonna just increase the number of trucks delivering these crops. I don't want us to go under 37 tons because then we will start importing crops again. There you go, Perpetuum mobile, 30,000 initially. With all the imports you can expect 30,000 a month, and we're gonna pause and tell you how much you can expect to earn. For example, last month, 1st of August, let's go for July, month of July. For the month of July, you can see that we imported 14,000 tons of crops, 14,000 rubles of crops. So that means if you're gonna import your own crops, you're gonna be earning around 30,000 rubles. If you're gonna be providing your own crops, you will be earning up to 45,000 rubles per month. Next up, chemicals, but that's the whole new tutorial. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is helpful. If it is, press the like button. If it isn't, leave a comment in the comment section. Let's discuss it. If you have any suggestions, ideas, if you have a way of correcting me here, perfectly, I would love to learn more. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.